When sellers ghost you, it sucks. It sucks if it's when it's a brand new lead and you can never get a hold of them again, or maybe you have a conversation and they say, hey, let me call you back, or I need some more time, and then you just never talk to them again. Or the worst is when you come to a verbal agreement, you send them the contract, and you never hear from them again. Now, we just released as part of our Black Friday special, the Ghostbusters protocol, where we go through how to overcome and eliminate sellers ghosting you. Now, in this example that I'm about to show you, this is a real life example of us overcoming the seller ghosting us. However, inside the Ghostbusters protocol, one of the things I did talk about is sometimes we don't need to overcome the seller ghosting us. Maybe we should just realize that's who they are. And maybe it's better if we don't go under contract with them and we don't read between the lines. And this is what happens on this one. Now, I'm going to give you a lot of examples here. You've probably seen me talk to the seller before because it's a YouTube video. It's on my YouTube shorts. Maybe you'll recognize it. Here's me talking to the seller for the first time. You still want to sell that property?
Oh, yeah. And like I tell everybody, it's $30,000.
Sounds to me like you talked to several people. I mean, why hasn't anybody bought this yet?
I haven't talked to hardly anybody.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, let me buy it before you talk to somebody else. How much would it cost you to fix it up?
Maybe 28, 30.
Are you good with me sending you over the contract for the $30,000?
That's fine.
All right, man. Well, I'll get that sent over to you. Let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Whoa. Sound like a beautiful close, right? I mean, that's the order taking. That's the one where everyone makes fun of me. Now, what I'm going to show you here is at the time we were using Trello as our CRM, and I've still got access to the files. So I'm going to bring this up. Here's our CRM. And as you can see right here, May 29th, Cassie actually left a voicemail. June 6th, called and left voicemail. June 14th, called and left a voicemail. 15th, left a voicemail. 19th, left a voicemail. At 3:41 p.m., at 3:58, that's when that call that you just watched took place. Sending a contract for $30,000. Next morning, voicemail. Next morning, voicemail. Next morning, send a text. Then I took the weekend off. Next Monday, voicemail. Tuesday, voicemail. Wednesday, voicemail. Thursday, voicemail. Then we had the 4th of July weekend, voicemail. Then on the 11th, left the voicemail. Now, here's what happens. That consistency and that relentless follow-up there every single day of me leaving voicemails, sending text messages, it alerted the seller's wife. Seller's wife is like, what's happening here? Now, there's some things that are not in the notes here that transpired, and it basically happened on July 11th. So here's what happened. I called this guy. He says he wants $30,000. I give him the $30,000. Simple close. Send him the contract. He doesn't sign. He ghosts me, right? Now, in our heads, we make up stories that there's something, he's shopping my offer. He sold to someone else. All these real bad things. Well, all of those things was not what was happening. What was completely off base. What actually happened was this guy wanted me to come see the property prior to signing the contract, although he never conveyed that. So where in the closing process did I not do my job? See, this is my fault. Reverse rapport. See, if you do reverse rapport, you explain your process. Okay, so once you sign that contract, we're going to come out. We're going to walk the property. We're going to do our inspection, and we're going to let you know if the property is what you said it is, we'll be good to close it on your price and on your timeline. If it's not, we're going to have to revisit price. Now, he probably would have had some objections there. That's why we do that. He probably would have said, I want you to come walk it right now. I don't want to go under contract with you prior to you walking it, and then you try to renegotiate. I'm not going to renegotiate the price. That's exactly how that conversation would have gone down. How do I know that? Because I had to follow up for weeks to then have that conversation. He says, I don't sign contracts over the phone. You need to come out here and you need to walk the property and you need to tell me if you want to buy or not. So I said, that's not my process. I'm not going to do that. He called me names. He cussed me out and all this. Now, this is not recorded, luckily. And if it is, I've forgotten about it and I'm not going to do the work to go figure out where it's at. However, what ended up happening is the wife was like, we are still motivated. We still need to sell this house. So she actually contacted us and she said, you need to talk to my mom. My mom has a lien on this property. So this became a little bit interesting. Now, I was kind of done, all right? I was like, this guy called and he cussed me out. And he called me names. I should have just pulled the plug right there. In fact, I thought I did. But I let my ego get in the way. And we do this as entrepreneurs, okay? I remember having this conversation with my team. I'm not signing a contract with this guy. I'm not doing it. And then they were like, it's a good deal. It's in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We've done deals there before. We've got buyers. I looked at my KPIs, and this is during the 50-50-50. And I'm broadcasting the KPIs. I'm showing these to everybody. And one of the numbers that I was really hard on myself during the 50-50-50 was the contracts to sent to sign ratio, that percentage, specifically with cold call leads. So this is a cold call lead. I was really hard on myself because that was my lowest closed percentage of contracts sent that got signed. And I was like, it's because I'm not doing a good enough job. I'm moving too quickly to the close. But why? Because I already have a lot of the information. I already know their price. I already know their motivation. I already know the condition. And so I was moving too rapidly through those phone calls. You just saw the example of me doing it. And I didn't build the reverse rapport. And so I was sending contracts, but they weren't getting signed. And so I looked at it and I said, I could get this one signed right here. And that makes my KPIs look better. So we signed the contract. And what you're going to see here is you're going to see the conversation that Cassie has with the mom. I'm going to show you that conversation because this conversation that Cassie has here actually leads to us getting the contract signed. Now, the contract did not get signed until July 21st. All of this happened on July 11th, so it took another 10 days. But we got the contract signed for $30,000. Now, I'm going to go ahead and spoil the ending here and let you guys see how Cassie navigates the conversation with the mom about the ghosting and all of that. The end is this property ends up in a termination. Not because we couldn't sell the deal, but because we did not listen to who this seller was. The seller told us during the whole way. He had no problem ghosting us. He had no problem cussing us out. He had no problem not signing the contract forever. We didn't listen to that. And then when it comes down to it, there's this weird situation with his mom being a lien holder, but he's the owner. And I never really quite understood what was going on there. The mom ended up being the deal killer. She would not give us or the title company the necessary information, contact information to get payoffs and stuff like that with the mortgage and the liens and all of that. And she killed the deal. We had a buyer. We were ready to sign the deal. I'll never forget Justin having the conversation with the mom and saying, we can get this deal closed. All we need is this information. And they just did not believe us. They thought it was a scam. They thought, as you can hear here, very confused about how a real estate transaction should go down. And so I look at this and I say there's multiple mistakes that you guys can learn from. One, in the closing process, reverse rapport is important. Build that credibility. Explain your process so you don't get ghosted. Second, if a seller is ghosty, if a seller is willing to cuss you out, not answer the phone, not returning phone calls, not explain what's going on, maybe you don't want to get into a short-term marriage with them for the next 30 to 45 days because when the title company needs information, they might ghost them. They might just refuse. And that's what ended up happening on this deal. So enjoy listening to Cassie talk to the mom on this deal and how we did successfully overcome the fact that the seller was ghosting us. But that wasn't necessarily a win. It just got us a signed contract. It never got us to a closed deal. We should have done better on this one.
Oh, so I think what happened is Chad had are you Linda?
I am.
Okay, so you're Chad's mother-in-law?
I am.
Okay. So RJ was asking why Chad had wanted you to be involved because you weren't on the deed, and I think he got out of him that you have a lien on the property or something to that effect. But you know, we offered Chad an amount on the property, and he seemed he was kind of like calling RJ names and stuff, and you know. I'm just letting you know because I was part of the conversation, and that he said something to the effect he's dealt with us before. He hasn't dealt with us before. We've been trying to understand what it is that he wants, and talk to him about it. But you know, we're just confused. You know, we offered him $30,000. He wanted $30,000. We told him that, you know, he doesn't want to be obligated to sell it to us if we walk it and it's got more work than we think it needs. And we told him he wasn't, but he just was wanting us to talk to you, and we didn't understand why, but I think it came out that he was not wanting to have a contract, or maybe he didn't want to go through title, or he just didn't understand that stuff.
Sure. I think I don't know what you mean by a contract. I'm assuming it's just a sell it outright and not selling it on contract.
Well, we are not going to purchase a property without having the abstract and going through title and it being on a contract. We're not talking about a land contract or a quit claim or anything like that. We're talking about like, we will purchase it. We will own the title. Like but we are going to have a contract signed between the seller and the buyer for them to pull title and go through the abstract and do that work. Like, we have to have a contract for purchase of the property. And he just, I don't know. He just is very adamantly against that. Wanted us to talk to you. We don't understand why we're talking to you. And yeah, that's basically what it boils down to.
Well, probably because the actual loan is in my name.
The loan is in your name, right? Which he finally came out and I think said at the end, but instead of just answering that up front, he kind of treated it like, you know, he literally was calling RJ stupid because he should know that. He should know why he wants us to talk to you. And we're like, we're not a title company. We're just somebody trying to buy the house. Title company.
I'm sure you have to go through the abstract and you have to get the deed and the title and everything turned over.
Right.
Once money exchanges hands, I mean, you know, I am not up on this. I mean, you know, I personally myself don't know how to go about it.
Okay, so I will tell you, as somebody who's done this, yeah, this is pretty straightforward. So I'll break down the process. I've done this thousands of times. I own a brokerage. Realistically, how it goes is we sign a contract for purchase. It gets submitted to the title company. If y'all have an abstract, it gets turned into title. They will probably update it. If y'all don't have an abstract, they will have to order an abstract. And if there's anything on title other than your mortgage lien, it gets pulled up as well. And then we go through the process of title works with y'all as the seller and lien holder. on clearing that title. And while that's happening, we work on it from the buyer's perspective, in that we assess the property, we get our repairs and our exit strategy drafted up, and we do underwriting for closing. And then 3 or so weeks later, we close on the property and title gives you your money, like pays off the liens or whatever that's going on. And that's
shouldn't be any, like, there should not be any liens on it. It's just paying off the loan.
right. Yeah. And I can't say that for certain or not, because I'm not title. I'm just a lowly buyer.
I don't know. I guess we will have to get together. Because like I said, I have no idea how to go about it.
So with you being the lien holder or the mortgage holder,
Larry and I got the loan.
say that again.
We got the loan in our name.
Okay.
And basically turned it over, Jeannie, they bought it basically for their son. We did this for our daughter probably 40 years ago, and everything worked out awesome. But this did not.
I gotcha.
This did not. So the house is sitting empty, and, the inside is obviously a mess. The outside, if you look at the outside, it's like, wow.
It's cute. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Chad did fix it up on the outside, but it just hasn't been cared for, period, on the inside. So really, all they're really interested in is paying off the loan, which I think is right at 30.
So,
That's really all we're in.
yeah, the issue with that is that, we have to have the property owner sign a purchase contract to open the title and go through the process.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming that would be me. But
No.
like I said, I don't know.
It is the person who's the owner of record, and that is, let me pull it back up, Chad and I think his wife.
Chad and Jeannie.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it back up. And that's the other issue with it, is like, we'd love to buy it, and you as the person that has the mortgage, or do you own the mortgage, or you have a mortgage out on it?
Well, I'm assuming because Iowa bankers must have the mortgage on it, because it's a mortgage statement.
Okay.
It comes to me and Larry.
Okay. So I've got Chad and Jeannie. Okay. They're the owner of record. That's pulling up as far as I can see. You having a mortgage out on the property, like, I assume you gifted them, did something with the title where you signed the title of the house over to Chad and Jeannie, but you still hold the mortgage. You still hold the note. You're still who's responsible for the payments, right?
Probably, I think, yeah, if they didn't make them, yeah, then it would be fun come back on me.
Right. But I don't deal with you. Title deals with you. You're just the person that has a mortgage out on this. The owners are Chad and Jeannie. And Chad,
I don't know.
yeah, I'm telling you, that's exactly what it is. We have to have a contract with the owner of record, which is Chad and Jeannie. Title will ask you to get a payoff statement when your mortgage comes up on it, and it's mortgaged to you. But we have to have a contract with Chad and Jeannie, and Chad is he don't want to.
I'm just guessing he's not understanding. Probably kind of like me. It's just not understanding.
Well, he's acting like he understands very well and telling us we're idiots. So I don't know. And I'm not personally offended by much, but I definitely know a hell of a lot more about real estate than Chad knows about real estate. Okay. So that don't hurt my feelings none. It's just that I don't know how to solve it for someone who
I didn't know it was any kind of a problem because he just said somebody would be calling me, some real estate calling me about the property. And I said, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know what to do. I mean, I don't know.
Well, you can talk to Chad. He literally just kept calling RJ names and saying, if you want it for 30,000, then take it. And RJ said, I literally sent you a contract saying I will buy this for 30,000, but I don't know. If you had to ask me, and I know that this is your family, and I'm not trying to be rude at all, but I don't know. it reminded me of someone like literally who didn't. I honestly, if I walked in on the conversation at the part that I did, he sounded like he was drunk to me.
Well, I know he doesn't drink, so I'm not worried about
Right.
that.
I mean, I'm just trying to see, like, it was a very odd conversation.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't know what else to do. I will have to get together with Jeannie and Chad later and talk, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't understand how this works, is what I'm saying. I don't know what my part is that I need to do. I guess I need to find out.
well, we can't do anything. We can't do anything with you. I can't sign a contract with you because you don't own the property.
That's fine.
So I have to sign a contract with Chad and Jeannie, both of them, because they are both on the title. They're both on the deed. And then you will get in contact with the title company once they open title, but they won't open title without a contract. And then you submit, hey, yes, you can give title permission to pull a payoff from the mortgage company.
Okay.
We'll need access to do our assessments, and we can agree at the 30,000 from what Chad has told us. But he was so it almost felt like he was trying to hide something from us, or I don't know. It was a weird deal.
Well, I don't know what it would be. I'm assuming you've been in the house.
No, we've been trying to contact him and get this so we can get title pulled and get access for a very long time.
Okay.
So part of me wants to see, like, do they even want to sell the property? So that's what we would need to do to buy the property. And
No, I want to sell it. I know that for a fact.
well, we're giving him his asking price, but we can't really do a whole lot if we can't get a title, get title opened and get access and get both Chad and Jeannie to sign our contract. So
Jeannie and Chad, I had no idea what the title. My husband took care of all this kind of stuff, and I probably knew this day would come. I was hoping it wouldn't, but.
well, I do understand, Linda. I say this all of the time. It's like I told you, I'm thousands of transactions, and I purchase and I sell real estate. I fix it up and flip it, and I hold it and I rent it out, and I do everything real estate. I own a brokerage. I honestly, I've done a lot of this, but I also understand that I do a lot of this. Most people do none of this.
I'm not questioning you. I'm questioning me.
Oh no, yeah, I get it, and that's what I'm saying. Most people never do this or do it a couple times in their whole lifetime. They don't teach this stuff.
I don't know why. I can't give you an answer as to why. I never thought, from what little conversation I had about it, I didn't think there was an actual problem. I thought, the asking price, they were just asking for the payoff, and that was it. and I thought they were all pretty happy with it. So I don't understand. I honestly do not understand, but I will try to find out how to get this going.
Well, we're here for it, and we're happy. I will say this: myself as well as RJ have been trying to get a hold of them to get this property going since May. So
I don't understand. Like I said, I totally don't understand where my part kind of comes in, except that I think the loan. I guess we must just be co-signers. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I have to talk to Jeannie and Chad and probably even Iowa bankers and find out.
I will explain it very, 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 very simply to you. You don't own this house. You have not co-signed on this house. You have a mortgage out on a house that you do not own. Because however y'all transferred the deed to Jeannie and Chad, like, let me just look at this. You did it on, I mean, I can only see as far back to Lorraine and Leon.
Or you mean who we bought it from?
To Jeannie and Chad. When y'all got the house, did you put it directly in Jeannie and Chad's names?
Well, maybe. See, I don't know.
Well, so I don't, maybe you co-signed on the, is 2012 sound right?
Oh, you mean the purchase date?
Yeah.
It's possible.
21, or no, wait, that's not 21. Let me remath that. 11 years ago?
Probably, very possibly.
Okay. So what it looks like it went directly in your name. Maybe you did co-sign the mortgage but the mortgage statement should say exactly whose name it is in. So if it's yours or if it's yours and Jeannie's.
When I'm a banker sends it to me, it comes under Larry and Linda Wells.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like you just took a loan out and gave the house to them. So I will tell you, without title being pulled on it, the only route that I see, like you will be involved in, is that loan has to be paid off through the sale of this house. They cannot sell the house without the loan being paid off. But that's as far as you're involved. So you cannot, you can't.
That's the whole thing. I mean, it's just nobody's making any money. We're just trying to pay the house off.
Right. So, but the issue is if I was talking to you right now, Linda, and you were the owner, I would say, Linda, why don't I send you a contract and you sign it and we'll get it going and we'll walk it and we'll tell you, we're good at 30,000 and title's pulled and they're going to pull the payoff and then we'll close. But I can't do that with you because I need to do that with Chad and Jeannie. So you're only going to,
Okay, well, I'm gonna call Jeannie, and we're gonna have to sit down and talk, and then maybe I can get a hold of Iowa bankers, and
You don't need to get a hold of Iowa bankers. Title will get a hold of them when you guys, even if it's not us, when you guys have a contract for purchase at the title company, title will contact you and Chad and Jeannie, and they will ask for all of the lien holders and payoff information, and they will contact Iowa bankers and get a payoff statement, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll get started.
Yeah, I mean, we're willing to sign it, but as far as Chad and Jeannie, you can ask them, if they're willing to sell it, and we'll.
Well, I know they're willing to sell. I just think there has to be some type of miscommunication. That's all I can come up with.
I would recommend to your son-in-law, he doesn't call people names that are trying to buy his houses too. That would be probably helpful, because I'm going to tell you what right now, I'm gonna already have to tell my business partner to get over, like, because I mean, nobody wants to do business like that. I mean, we can go buy other houses, and I want to do good business. And I do understand that, like I said, most people don't understand how these processes work. And like, we pride ourselves on walking people through it, but not at the expense of, dealing in bad business with people who are going to call you names when you're just trying to buy a house. Like, if you don't want to sell it to us, then don't sell it to us. If you do want to sell it to us, maybe don't call us names because you don't understand the process on something,
Yeah, I will get a hold of Jeannie, and we're just going to have to talk about it. I mean, there's the best way to get it done is just to get started. So
yeah.
I don't know anything about it, so I will try. I will try to get the ball rolling.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time, Linda, and hopefully I've at least helped clear up a little bit how the process needs to work and simplify it for you. And y'all can give us a call back, and
it is in their name, and Larry and I are just, like I said, if they just decided they didn't want to pay for the house anymore, then it would come back on me.
Yeah.
That much I do know.
Yeah, that's absolutely sounds correct. I mean, like I said, I can't, you telling me that, I believe you. Yeah.
I know. I wasn't worried about it. I mean,
Sure.
I would never have done it if I'd have been concerned about it. So, but we will get it worked out as
Sure.
best we can and satisfy everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if I'm guessing there's not an abstract, and part of the reason that we want to get the contracts, I don't want to overcomplicate this because I know, but do you know what an abstract is?
No, not really.
Okay, so I'm going to break it down to you real simply. It's just since this house was built in 1900, it's a bunch of paperwork saying all of the transfers of ownership since it was built, okay? So, in other words, it's just basically a piece of paper the title has to have to say, yep, we can transfer this from Chad and Jeannie to Titanium Investments. And it's like, okay, but I will say, if they don't or you don't have that paperwork, it sometimes takes 2 weeks just to get that. And then sometimes if there's an issue that comes up in that research, then, that issue has to be cleared in order for us to sell. Now, I don't feel like that's going to be an issue from what I see, but there's never any knowing. So we like to get the contract to title before we spend hours and hours and hours working up and underwriting and planning and all this, that, and the other. We like that to be going on at the same time that we're doing our assessments and underwriting. And the reason why is that's just sometimes it can take, 3 weeks, and sometimes it can take 6 weeks. And if there's a problem, sometimes that can take 6 months. So as the buyer, like, we just want to get the process rolling is what I'm trying to explain to you. And I don't want anybody to feel like any type of way about us just trying to get the process rolling. But that's why we need the contract. That's why it's not as simple as we just show up to the doorstep with a suitcase full of $30,000. I wish it was sometimes, but it's just not. And if you guys have questions about that, you can absolutely call us. This number you called on is our main line, and it can transfer to me or RJ if one of us is already on the other line. Usually somebody can pick up, or they'll take a message for us out on the someone from the rest of our team and have us call you back. But let us know what y'all are thinking, and we're happy to get it rolling.
Yeah, I will. All I can do is talk to Jeannie and Chad and see if we can't get this straightened out as to thinking, and I won't know until I talk to him. So
I think that he thought signing the contract meant they had to do something that they don't have to do, and we couldn't quite get it out of them before he got very defensive.
It's entirely possible they just misunderstood.
Yeah, and it's okay. I mean, like I said, most people don't ever do this, or only do it a couple times in their lives. And we're here to, like I said, we're here to answer any questions y'all have, and we'd love to buy the property. We have to go through certain things in order to do that. That's all.
Well, try to see what I can get figured out. See what their problem is.
All right. Thanks, Linda.
I'll probably get back to you. All right. Thank
Sounds
you.
good. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. What was Chad's issue?
He doesn't sign contracts over the phone. We can go out there and we can let him know if we want it. I said, no. Already told him this. He's ghosted me for 22 days.
Oh, yeah.
Now all of a sudden he wants, let's just do it. If you want it, go out there. I'll meet you right now. I'm like, this is not how it goes down.
Yeah, dude. Like, this dude, we started contacting them in May, and I just told Linda, like, man, there's a process. We're not going to spend all this time chasing you down to be ignored and then be called names. And y'all either want to go through the process and understand it's not as simple as showing up with a suitcase full of money at the front step, or not. I mean, I get it. What if he ghosts us at closing? Listen, I will have his wife and his mother-in-law pull him by the ear into that title company, okay? You think this is the first time I've dealt with a difficult man? Hell no.